On June 13, 2025, the Middle East entered a new and uncertain chapter. In the pre-dawn hours, Israel launched a massive military campaign against Iran. The operation was given a name heavy with meaning: Rising Lion. This was not just a military code name, it was a carefully crafted message, a piece of strategic communication aimed at multiple audiences simultaneously. The operation involved extensive airstrikes on over 100 targets across Iran. These included critical nuclear facilities near Natanz and Isfahan, as well as key military installations. The world watched as a long simmering shadow war erupted into open, direct conflict between two of the region's most powerful adversaries. The scale of the operation quickly became apparent. Satellite images confirmed significant damage to Iranian infrastructure. Over the following days, the campaign expanded. Dozens of additional targets in and around Tehran, including defense ministry facilities, were struck. Israel claimed to have eliminated high-ranking military officials, including the Armed Forces Chief of Staff, Mohammad Bagheri, and the head of the IRGC, Hossein Salami. This was more than a punitive strike. It was a clear attempt to decapitate Iran's military leadership and cripple its strategic capabilities. The name Rising Lion was meant to convey the ferocity and determination behind this unprecedented assault. The conflict was not one-sided. Iran responded with missile barrages aimed at Israeli cities. These attacks brought the war home to Israeli civilians, with reports of dozens killed and hundreds wounded. Tragedies unfolded in communities like Bat Yam and Tamra, where families were torn apart by the incoming fire. This exchange of blows highlighted the immense risks involved. Yet the Israeli government remained resolute, framing the operation not just as a defensive necessity, but as a historic mission. The name Rising Lion was chosen to encapsulate this sense of national purpose, a declaration that Israel was rising up to face its most formidable foe head-on. The operation's name was a brilliant piece of psychological warfare. It was designed to do two things at once. For the Israeli people, it invoked a powerful biblical symbol of strength and divine favor, reinforcing their resolve. For the Iranian people, it resurrected a cherished national emblem from their pre-revolutionary past, signaling that Israel's fight was not with them, but with the regime that governed them. This dual messaging turned a military operation into a complex cultural and political statement. It was an attempt to fight not only on the battlefield of steel and fire but also in the hearts and minds of people on both sides of the conflict. For Israelis, the lion is a symbol deeply woven into the fabric of their national and religious identity. It represents the tribe of Judah, the most powerful of the ancient Israelite tribes, from which the word Jew is derived. The lion is a biblical emblem of strength, courage, and kingship. It signifies a nation that is powerful, proud, and unafraid to defend itself. When the government named the operation Rising Lion, it was tapping into this ancient wellspring of meaning. The message to the Israeli public was clear: we are strong, our cause is just, and we will rise to meet this challenge with the courage of our ancestors. This symbolism was made explicit by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. On the eve of the operation, he visited the Western Wall in Jerusalem, the holiest site in Judaism. There he left a handwritten note containing a verse from the biblical book of Numbers. "Look, a nation like a lioness will rise up, and like a lion he raises himself." This powerful act framed the military campaign in religious and historical terms. It was a declaration that Israel's actions were not merely political or strategic, but were part of a larger, divinely sanctioned destiny. It aimed to unify the nation and provide a sense of profound purpose during a time of great peril. The Lion of Judah therefore served as a powerful rallying cry. It resonated with a public that was now facing direct missile attacks from Iran. In times of war, national unity is paramount. The image of the lion helped to galvanize support for the government and the military. It transformed a frightening new conflict into a narrative of national resilience. The message was that Israel, like the lion, would not back down. It would not rest until the threat was neutralized. This biblical framing was essential for maintaining morale and steeling the public for the hardships that lay ahead in this difficult and dangerous confrontation. This was a message intended primarily for a domestic audience. It was about reinforcing a sense of collective identity and shared faith. The government needed its people to believe in the necessity and righteousness of the war. By invoking the lion, a symbol that every Israeli child learns about, the leadership connected the present crisis to the long arc of Jewish history. It was a reminder of past struggles and ultimate survival. The name Rising Lion assured the Israeli people that they were not victims, but powerful actors shaping their own destiny, just as the lion in the Bible rises to meet its foes without fear. While the lion symbolized strength for Israel, it carried a very different but equally powerful meaning for Iranians. The name Rising Lion was a direct reference to the lion and sun, the official emblem of Iran for centuries before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. This symbol, featuring a lion holding a sword before a rising sun, is deeply associated with Iran's ancient monarchical history and national pride. For many Iranians, especially those who oppose the current theological regime, it represents a golden era of modernity, secularism, and national sovereignty. It is a symbol of a different Iran, one that they hope to reclaim. By choosing a name that evoked this lost emblem, Israel was sending a carefully targeted message to the Iranian people. The signal was that Israel's enemy was the Islamic Republic, not the nation of Iran or its rich culture and history. This was a classic psychological warfare tactic, designed to drive a wedge between the Iranian people and their rulers. Israel's official Persian-language social media channels, which reach millions inside Iran, became central to this campaign. They were flooded with imagery that resurrected the lion and sun, portraying it as a symbol of liberation from the current government's rule. The digital campaign was sophisticated and relentless. One cartoon posted by an official Israeli account showed a golden lion piercing the flag of the Islamic Republic with its sword. Under the caption, "The Rise of the Lions for the Victory of Light over Darkness." Sarah Netanyahu, the Prime Minister's wife, posted an image on Instagram showing two lions side by side, one draped in an Israeli flag, the other in Iran's pre-1979 imperial flag. The message was unmistakable. The people of Israel stand with the people of Iran against a common enemy, their tyrannical regime. This was an open invitation for Iranians to see Israel not as a foe, but as a potential ally in their own struggle for freedom. This strategy aimed to ignite hope and encourage dissent within Iran. Prime Minister Netanyahu openly called for the Iranian people to rise up, stating in interviews that their hour of freedom is near. The use of the lion and sun was a powerful tool in this effort. It offered a nostalgic and patriotic alternative to the symbols of the Islamic Republic. It was a reminder of a national identity that the current regime had tried to suppress. By co-opting this symbol, Israel was not just waging a military war, it was participating in a cultural war for the soul of Iran, hoping to turn public sentiment into a strategic asset. The true genius of the name Operation Rising Lion lies in its dual-layered meaning. It was a single phrase that spoke to two different audiences in two different languages of symbolism. This allowed Israel to pursue two distinct psychological objectives at the same time. The operation was not just about destroying military targets, it was about constructing a narrative that could sustain a war effort at home, while simultaneously undermining the enemy's will to fight from within. This fusion of military action and symbolic messaging represents a modern evolution of warfare, where the information space is as critical as the physical battlefield. For the Israeli audience, the biblical lion was a message of confidence. It drew upon deep-seated religious and cultural themes to build national consensus and resolve. It presented the war as a necessary and righteous struggle for survival, ordained by history and destiny. For the Iranian audience, the pre-revolutionary lion was a message of hope and challenge. It sought to awaken a dormant sense of national identity and encourage opposition to the regime. It was an attempt to separate the people from their government, a key objective in any campaign that seeks to produce lasting political change rather than just temporary military advantage. This dual strategy is best summarized by comparing the messages side by side. The biblical lion meant strength, courage, divine purpose, and national resilience for Israel. The lion and sun emblem represented pre-revolutionary identity, national pride, and hope for freedom from the current regime for Iranians. This table clearly illustrates the sophisticated communication strategy at play. Israel was speaking in code to both its own people and to the people of Iran. The name itself became a weapon. It was a declaration of strength to friends and a subtle promise of liberation to the citizens of an enemy state. This allowed Israel to frame the conflict not as a war against a nation, but as a targeted strike against a dangerous regime, all while bolstering the morale of its own populace for the fight ahead. Ultimately, the name Rising Lion transformed a military operation into a profound cultural statement. It unified the messages of strength and hope under a single powerful symbol. The lion in its different forms became the emblem of the entire conflict. It represented Israel's determination to rise up and defend itself, while also representing the hope that the people of Iran might one day rise up as well. This made Operation Rising Lion more than just a series of airstrikes. It was an argument, a narrative, and a bold declaration that this war would be fought not only with jets and missiles, but with symbols and ideas.